Today's Trophy Kids, we have a great episode for you. We're recapping NFL Week 5, the Jay Gruden situation down in Washington and what's next for the Redskins, and we're giving some Week 6 picks. So let's go. And welcome to Trophy Kids, presented by Bad News Media. It is October 9th. I almost said September 9th. And I don't know what the fuck's going on in football anymore. I am a blind man trying to read a gambling board. I'm losing picks left and right. It's been a terrible week. It's a bloodbath up here in Cincinnati. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. October 9th. Shout out, Mom. Happy birthday. I've done okay in football. Decent sports betting weekend I had. Not memorable, but not a loss, so we'll take it. Much better on the college football side. College football this year has been a lot easier for me. I just trust Ohio State to cover those 18-point spreads, and they generally do. And that's kind of how I've been doing it.
I'm like 2 for $1 billion up here in the last 2 weeks. I'm literally 2 for 10, I think, in the last 2 weeks in college football. With that being said, I do like Texas this week to cover. It's like an 11-point spread against Oklahoma. But it's been bad. Either way, the NFL has been somewhat of my saving grace. Not fantastic. I'm about the Bills. I'm week to week. Some weeks I show up good. Not the Bills, the Browns. Some weeks I show up good. Some weeks I show up bad. The Browns got their absolute asses handed to them last night. I think the 49ers, too, are actually legit. So it's a weird league right now.
It's very weird because I wasn't really a believer in the 49ers, and apparently they're a pretty good team. I mean, they're 4-0, and they just literally dominated that game yesterday. Their defensive line's unreal. Nick Bosa is clearly on just supreme steroids. Fantastic steroids he's taking, and they are really paying off for him. I mean, yeah, it seems like these 49ers are legit, and these Browns are an absolute mess, starting with Baker.
Yeah, I mean, first of the 49ers point, the 49ers, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because I do actually like Kyle Shanahan as a head coach. I think he's one of the better football minds out there right now. You saw what he did in Atlanta, and then they immediately collapsed as soon as he left town.
Yeah.
The team has just been banged up like crazy. My favorite part of last night, Rob Lauder tweeted this out, that Joe Stanley was apparently standing next to Shanahan before Garoppolo hit a 22-yard touchdown, and before the ball was even snapped, Shanahan goes, "That's a touchdown," and starts walking down the field before the ball had even been snapped. So I love the 49ers.
Football genius.
Yeah, he is a football genius. He puts them in good place. You could see the exact opposite on the other side of the field of the Browns.
Yeah.
Freddie Kitchen and that Browns team. Because at this point, if you buy into the philosophy that they're currently going, which is they lose a game, then they come back the next week, they look good. They lose a game, they come back the next week, they look good. Congratulations, Browns fan. You're about to go 500 when you were supposed to be winning this really terrible division in the AFC right now. It's still anybody's division. I'm not hitting the panic button just yet, but it's a bad situation. And the only thing I can really put my finger to is the coaching situation, because that team looked good at the end of the year. They added better pieces. They didn't improve the offensive line, which is a problem. But obviously, there's an issue with preparation before each game. And I would argue, even more so, discipline. Because it makes no sense. You should not be going week to week looking like completely different teams. Yes, granted, they probably shouldn't have won that game regardless, but they shouldn't have been blown out like that. That's a coaching issue, I think, in my opinion. As well as Baker is not playing great. Once again.
Yeah.
Not putting him in the best positions.
Yeah, Baker's not playing well, but also his line is just so bad. His offensive line is terrible. I know the 49ers have a very good line, but Baker's line this year and last year was awful. For whatever reason, they don't want to get Odell Beckham involved. I don't understand what's up with that. I mean, they have him throwing the ball in order to get involved. He threw the ball and then ran the ball before he even caught the ball, in the second quarter. It's ridiculous. I think maybe Odell was better off playing with an Eli Manning who just said fuck it and literally threw it up all the time because he was just terrified and just didn't know what to do. Fucking throw it to Odell. And Baker is a little bit more calculated, a little bit more smart, a little smarter with the ball. Yesterday or Monday doesn't really show that, but so it's just weird that they can't get Odell involved and they have all these weapons, but they like you said, they're very undisciplined. It kind of reminds me of before the Redskins sucked this year, kind of like the old Redskin teams who were less talented than the Browns team, but just undisciplined, would come out and dominate. The next 2 weeks would suck, then would win, then would lose. I mean, it just has to do with discipline. You're right, and Freddie Kitchens just seems to let this team do kind of whatever they want, and they haven't won anything yet. he hasn't won anything yet. Really, no one on the team, no one on the entire roster has ever won anything.
Correct.
Just all really talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, but I will say this one thing about Baker last season. I actually found this tweet. This was a random guy. His name is Real Slick Nick. He tweeted this out. I figured I should give him a shout out, even though he probably just took this himself. Yeah, exactly. But Baker last season against teams with a winning record, 1 for 5, 59 completion percentage, 10 touchdown to 11 interception rate, and a 77 passer rating. I did not know that.
That's not good.
I didn't know that. That's really bad. So, Baker hasn't fully proven anything yet. So let's see what happens with him.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not going to say he's a bust because I think that's way too early. People who are trying to get up on that train are morons.
That's crazy.
He's also not as good as I think everybody thought he was going to be coming into the season. He's still got a long way to go. You touch on the Odell thing. I think that's the interesting piece. I think that saga is about to come to a screeching halt in Cleveland.
Right.
To me, it makes all the sense in the world to potentially offload him somewhere and maybe pick off an offensive lineman or at least draft picks to then go draft offensive linemen, because that's really your Achilles heel and what's holding this team back. Outside of, there are some other issues, but those can be more addressed with coaching and probably a little bit more experience. Freddie Kitchens is a rookie head coach, so he obviously needs some time to get adjusted. Same with the coaching staff. You give him a couple of years, you should be good there. I could see him being moved. He's a huge asset, especially for teams who are going to be looking to make a late playoff push. That's a position where you could potentially move him for some real value, because once again, he is, in some people's books, top 3 wide receiver. I'd say undoubtedly a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. We could argue all day where he deserves to be, but people will pay a high price for him, especially as we get closer to the playoffs, if they're not playing well.
Yeah, right. I agree, and I'd never actually really thought about offloading Odell, but I don't hate the idea just because, I mean, you look at all these past Super Bowl teams, very rarely do they have any of these star diva wide receivers. And the Browns, they played well last year with, having Jarvis Landry, going with Baker. I mean, this year they'll get Kareem Hunt back. They can ride Hunt and Chubb. I mean, that's ideally what you want to do with the second-year quarterback anyway. I mean, I don't hate that idea, getting an offensive lineman, getting maybe a draft pick as well. You can ride as your receiving core. You got Callaway, who just came back. Callaway has talent, and They obviously have Jarvis. So I don't hate the idea. I really don't.
You're going to get, what's-his-face, the tight end back.
Njoku?
Yes, Njoku. He'll come back. So you got some pieces there. I mean, that's your biggest hole. And fixing an offensive line is not an overnight task. So you need to probably pick up a veteran or two. You're only going to do that in free agency or by trading a piece. And then maybe go draft a couple guys. But it's a bad situation in Cleveland. With that being said, if you're buying the theory of week-to-week play for them, they are primed for a win potentially this week. We'll get to that a little bit later. But first, we definitely need to address your Washington Redskins, sir. Shea Gruden is out. Bill Callahan is in, and the search for a head coach begins. Where are we at on that? As far as the entire Redskins situation, I'll say.
Oh, God. It's such a circus. It's just such a circus. Jay, I'm actually glad we didn't do the whole, let's wait until the end of the year stuff. I think that's dumb, especially when you're 0-5. Like, at this point, get rid of him, let him go. He's still going to get paid, and start your head coaching search now. The only problem is no one wants to come work for Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen. At this point, literally no one does. No reputable, highly known head coach is going to want to come work for them. And it's sad because they've created such a terrible culture and such a toxic atmosphere that we're not going to be able to acquire anyone. So we're probably going to have to promote from within. I mean, there's always talk about Kevin O'Connell being promoted and how, we're tired of watching all these offensive geniuses leave our coaching staff and, be Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, or Kyle Shanahan. We're kind of tired of watching that. But knowing our luck, this guy will be the one bum out of the 4, and he's going to suck. And we let the three savants walk out the door. So, I mean, it's going to come back and bite us in the ass, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I was trying to think about this because I was scratching my head like, who are they going to actually theoretically get? Like, who is a possibility? A lot of people, for some reason, think Mike Tomlin's coming, which I think is ludicrous. Here's the only thing. Because I was looking at a list. I pulled up a list CBS Sport had a list. I saw a couple other people talking about it. Mike Tomlin seems to be on the top of a lot of people's list.
Yeah.
Zimmer's out there. Jason Garrett, if he gets fired, I'm sure Kellen Moore is going to get some offers here. If you're a big-time coach, the only reason it would make sense to go to the Redskins is if you either get John Gruden money or you get a Marvin Lewis situation where you have complete autonomy over the front office, which I don't think Bruce Allen's going to give up, or Dan Snyder. So if you don't have maybe not complete, but a very large stakehold in the talent you bring in and out of that facility, why the hell would you ever go to Washington? They have shown, unfortunately, that they are super dysfunctional in that front office, and it just hasn't worked out. So if you don't have that type of control, what do you think outside of getting stupid money that's guaranteed, because then fuck it, who cares if you get fired? Would you take on that position where you don't know who your quarterback, you don't even know if you draft number 1 this year, who doesn't say Dan Snyder says fucking and picks Tua? And then you got 2 quarterbacks on the roster, and then you got to figure out what the fuck to do with that. But that actually might not be a bad idea, which I'll talk to you here in a second. But I'm with you. I don't know how you hire somebody like a household name. You have to go either within or get a guy like an Eric Bieniemy or whatever his name is out in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. But even that's going to be tough because they're going to have tons of jobs. Like, he's going to get a bunch of offers. Why would he pick Washington over one of the other?
Exactly. Yeah. He's not going to pick Washington. And, yeah, we have to do that, or we have to find, like, a coach that's, like, getting out of rehab. Like, just someone who just needs to get back in the league.
Not rehab, but Rex Ryan might be a candidate there.
Exactly.
He needs back in the league.
Yeah, he wants to get back in the league. And on top of that is in the past, Dan and Bruce have said they'll give up full control, and they fucking lie, and they don't actually do it. They said to Mike Shanahan they would give him full control. Mike Shanahan never had full control. They said Scott McCloughan would have full control. Scott McCloughan would always show up drunk, so I'm not surprised he didn't have full control. But, yeah. I mean, they've lied about it. So you can't even trust them if they say, yeah, we'll hire you and you'll have full control. You can't trust them because eventually they'll start meddling and it'll just be a fucking shit show like it always is.
Yep, I would agree. Here's the real thing. We're going to this game this weekend down in Miami. You guys honestly might – let me start with this. Do you think you can beat the Miami Dolphins?
I think we can. I don't think we will. I think they're a more put-together team currently. As ridiculous as that sounds.
So I'm looking at your schedule. If they win, there's a good chance you guys end up with the first overall pick. You play the 49ers after that, the Vikings, Bills, Jets, who are trash, and you could probably win that.
We could beat the Jets.
Yeah.
We might beat them. I mean, we get the Giants again.
Yeah, Lions, Giants, yeah. So there's maybe 1, 2 to 3 wins in there. You guys are going to be a hot ticket to potentially be the first overall pick. Depending on who you hire, I could see a situation, because the league is a copycat league, where you guys move Haskins and you take Tua if you have the first overall pick, because he is more mobile of a quarterback. That is the direction people are going. And they are seeing what the Dolphins/Cardinals have done with their rebuilding process. Offload Haskins somewhere, which would be hysterical. Not for you as much. Well, it might work out. But to go through that shit show of 2 quarterbacks, I could very easily see that playing out here in the near future.
I could, but I also don't, because Dan and Bruce have massive egos and arrogance and are very stubborn. Like, an example of that is how we still have Trent Williams on our roster. If we did draft Tua, as ridiculous as that sounds, we probably wouldn't even get rid of Haskins. We'd probably keep them both because they're so stubborn and arrogant and won't move from what they don't like to admit their failures. It's ridiculous, even though the entire existence of them being involved with the franchise has been a failure, but they don't like to admit it.
Yeah.
But I don't actually hate the idea. I mean, I do think Haskins is going to be a good player, but I think Tua is going to be a really good player. So.
Yeah. I mean, it ultimately depends on who you hire. Are you hiring a guy who's going to scheme around Haskins, or are you hiring a guy like, if you somehow get the Chiefs offensive coordinator, there's no way he's keeping Haskins if he has any say over it, because he's going to want somebody who's mobile like Patrick Mahomes to run that offense. And if you have the first pick, or if you even have the second or third, you might go draft Justin Hubert, who's a little bit more athletic. I don't know how that's going to work out. I think he could be potentially good, but it all depends on who you guys end up hiring. So we'll wait and see on that. But overall, not a good situation. The good news is there are some really shitty teams out there, like the Bengals, who are sort of also covering for the Redskins right now.
We would beat them. I think
that is a dumpster fire.
They're really bad.
that team up here in Cincinnati is an absolute shit show, and that might be a discipline, or that might be an insult to shit shows, because it is one of the worst run teams right now. And I feel bad for Eric Taylor, who probably shouldn't have been thrown into a head coaching job.
Yeah,
QB's coach. That probably wasn't a great decision. But you're not only throwing him into that, you're throwing him into a roster that has nothing going for it right now. With AJ Green out, he might be a piece they move eventually here. Or there's a very real possibility Andy Dalton might be moved. Because if quarterbacks continue to drop, I could see one of these playoff teams, like a Chicago Bears, or hell, a Minnesota Vikings team, saying, fuck it, let's take a waiver and see if we can get this guy who has shown that if you put some pieces around him, he is good enough to not lose you football games. Maybe not win them, but he's good enough to at least play.
Yeah, I mean, classic kind of game manager. Not quite to like an Alex Smith ability of being a game manager, but he's a good player. I mean, he's fine. He's serviceable, and I could definitely see, like you said, quarterbacks are going down left and right. The only problem is, I mean, when's the trade deadline? Like week 8?
Yeah, something like that. You don't have much time to move, but
yeah, that's the thing. Is like it's kind of hard unless you have unless you're like a 6-2 team and your quarterback just goes down. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, but the AJ Green thing, I think AJ Green could definitely get moved. I see like New England just calling right away.
Especially because he's heading into a contract. So
yeah, exactly.
You don't want that potential free agency looming out there with him.
Right, exactly. And yeah, the Bengals are just an absolute, I mean, like you said, shit show. They are bad. I firmly believe the Reds could beat that team.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a race for that first pick.
It really is.
Because, I mean, losing to the Cardinals, they did put up a fight towards the end there, but the Cardinals are a little bit better than we all probably expected, I would say. Still not.
Yeah, they're still pretty shitty.
Yeah, pretty shitty. But they're not. I was thinking they were going to come in and be like Dolphins level, like maybe 0-16. They're not going to head that route. But the Bengals have a real chance of going 0-16. The one thing they luck out is that division is a flaming piece of garbage. So you might steal a game here or there. The Ravens, what the hell's going on with them?
I don't know. Yeah, the Ravens are weird, man, and Lamar seems to be just regressing and regressing. You know, it's like each game goes by, and as a fantasy owner, I'm becoming slightly concerned, even though my team sucks. It doesn't really matter. But Lamar, they're a weird team. They're very weird. I don't know.
I don't know where they're at. I was looking at to try to get some pick'ems going here towards the end before here, and I was looking at them, and I was like, they're playing Cincinnati. I think they're going to obviously win that game. It's 11-point spread, but it's like, I don't know what that offense is going to look like. Hell, I don't know what that defense is going to look like.
Yeah, the defense, too.
Like, it's an absolute flip a coin on that team week to week.
So weird. It really is.
Yeah, they're a mess. What I do like coming out of this is the Buffalo Bills are looking like a playoff team right now.
They are.
This squad is 4-1. They're obviously not going to win the division unless Tom Brady goes down here, because I think the Patriots have that wrapped up with a bow at this time. We can definitively probably say that, pending an injury. But they played the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Redskins, the Bills, the Browns, the Dolphins again, and then the Broncos the next 6 weeks. I mean, I got them winning at least 4 games there.
I was about to say, they got 4 or 5 wins easy, and obviously they'll steal maybe 1 or 2 more. Yeah, I mean, the Bills seem to be a good team.
This team is going to win 10 to 11 games, if not more, because the end of their schedule, they got the Jets the last week of the schedule. They got the Steelers the third to last week. They do have the Patriots, but that's 2 weeks out from the playoffs. Who knows what they'll be doing roster-wise? Who might be injured? Who might be out? I mean, this team, they're going to the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills, I think, pending, once again, a catastrophic injury. Because Josh Allen has shown second half of games he can win, and that defense is damn good. And defense travels. Offense doesn't always travel in this league.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And Josh Allen shows up in the second half. They're a perfect playoff team. They run the ball pretty well, and they play really, really good defense. And Josh Allen, as long as he stays healthy, I mean, he's mobile. He gets hit a lot. It's always concerning, but he's a big guy. He should be okay. But I think they are a team that is built for the playoffs. They could be the first wild card team. They really could. And if I don't think it'll happen because I think the Chiefs will get a bye, but if they line up against the Chiefs, that's a type of team that can beat Kansas City.
Yes, because they can do what every team has unfortunately at this point realize about the Kansas City Chiefs. If you line up and play man, they're in some real trouble. I mean, Hill will obviously help out a little bit because he can take the roof off a place, but still, the Bills are good enough at corner and on defense over round, they can play man, and then the Chiefs are in a lot of trouble. I don't know if they solve that problem this year, honestly. I mean, I'm assuming they probably will because Andy Reid is one of the best coaches in the league, so you would think they'd probably piece it together, given they know this early that it is that big of a problem. Mm-hmm. You would hope by the playoffs they get that figured out, but, I mean, it's not looking good, which also does not bode well, this week showed, for our Colts long-term bet, because there's a good chance the Colts might make the playoffs, but the Chiefs might be in some trouble here.
The Chiefs could be in trouble. Like you said, like there's a blueprint now on how to beat them. I will say they are really effing injured right now. Like Sammy Watkins went down, Tyreek Hill's obviously out. Travis Kelce kind of played like shit that game.
Mahomes has got a sprained ankle.
Yeah, Mahomes is hurt. Yeah, Mahomes was visibly not himself after he took that one hit in that game, and he was just not himself anymore. So there's kind of a blueprint out there. I mean, you play really good defense against them if you can. You know, you play as best you can, and then you run the ball against them, control the clock, because their defense sucks. Their run defense is horrendous.
Yep.
And you control the clock against them, and that's how you beat them. So blueprint's out there, but like you said, Andy Reid's got a long time to make adjustments, and people come back from injuries. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not hitting the panic button just yet on the Chiefs, but if they come back healthy and they aren't figuring that out against the better corners in the league, then you might want to start to look at that. But like we said, I have full faith in Andy Reid's ability to at least make sure that isn't such a gaping hole in their ability to win football games, because he is one of the best coaches out there in the NFL.
For sure. And I'm slightly concerned, though, about Mahomes' ankle, because it was already – I'm always concerned when an injury, like, it's kind of well known that something's nagging someone, and then you actually see them, like, hurt it on top of that. That's where I'm like, oh, shit. Like, all right, he really is hurt. So I'd be a little concerned about his ankle.
Yeah, the mobile quarterbacks are taking a shellacking this year.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Josh Allen, we were just talking about the Bills. We said they're a playoff team, but he's getting lit up week to week almost. Yes. Lamar looked a little bit slower, step to step. Mahomes right here has got the injury in the ankle. I mean, yeah, it's the new wave of football, but it's also a cautionary tale because these guys take a beating, and it just is not sustainable for the long term.
Yeah.
One thing that is sustainable, though, is apparently Pat's QBs after they leave the Patriots now, because Jacoby Brissett and the Colts are off to the races. They're looking like a damn good football team right now. I'm going to say there's a chance, because I don't know where the Texans fall. I don't know about you, but the Texans are that big unknown for me, because talk about a team with an offensive line that has issues week to week potentially. They're another team where I don't know what I'm going to get from them product-wise, but I don't know if they're actually going to be able to close out the AFC South. The Colts and the Jaguars, for that much. Actually, the whole AFC South, I think, is up for grabs right now.
It's really
weird. The Titans
weird.
can figure out a kicker situation. The whole division's up.
And it's so weird. And there's so many teams where you don't know what you're going to get. The Colts are one. Houston's one. Shit, Oakland is one. I mean, Oakland beat the Colts 2 weeks ago, and then they beat the shit out of the Bears. It's crazy. And like I said, with the Colts, I don't know what I'm gonna get with them either. It's 1 week they play really well, and then the next week they get boat raced. But Jacoby Brissett, I agree, he's a good quarterback, and I actually thought he was a good quarterback 2 years ago when he played for Andrew Luck, like for the entire year. I thought he was very serviceable, and I was like, the Skins should go get him. But yeah, the league this year it's crazy. There's a lot of teams where I'm just like, who are you? Like,
who the fuck are you going to be week to week? The AFC South just circled that whole division for me. Because with Gardner Minshew playing the way he's playing, the Jags are another team that you could throw in there. Like, what are they going to be week to week?
Even the Titans have been week to week. I mean, I actually kind of think the Titans are kind of shitty, but I mean, they're still a week to week team.
Yeah, the Titans are the football team that they're going to play good defense week to week. You just don't know what the offense is going to look like. Mariota could look like the guy they drafted, or he can look like absolute dog shit that you would trade for Jameis Winston, which is something to be said for. If they can figure out the kicking situation, though, they might have an additional win or two here. But that whole division, I love Gardner Minshew out there too, and that Jags team right now. But I can tell you right now, when Andrew Luck retired, I did not foresee a potential four-way race. I mean, it's obviously we're not going to count the Titans in there. A three-way race for the division championship where the Colts were involved.
No, I wasn't really expecting that either. I kind of thought that they would crumble and be like really bad. Um, but no, I mean, Frank Reich's got them playing well. They play hard. They got a lot of talent. So I mean,
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton when he's healthy, I mean, he's been going off. So
Yes, sir. Now, you also mentioned John Gruden and those Raiders.
yeah,
Oh, man. First of all, Club Dub is dead in Chicago. If John Gruden's mocking you, game, set, match, it's over. I don't know what you do if you're a Bears fan right now because the offense didn't look that great under Trubisky. Even when he comes back, obviously Chase isn't the answer, but if you're looking at the Bears, because they went chips all in to go for a Super Bowl push, losing the Raiders is not a good look.
I agree. This Bears team has been like everyone else, just a weird team, and you just don't know what the defense generally is going to show up, but that offense is just so bad. Mitchell Trubisky, I know he didn't play, but he kind of reminds me of a somewhat better, not even all that much better, but Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
I think he's got a lot of Blake Bortles. He's mobile. He's pretty athletic. Blake Bortles is athletic, but just his decision making and just his touch on the ball, it's not elite, and it's just I don't know. I'm not a big Trubisky guy, and the fact that they went up for the second pick to take him is craziness.
I would agree, especially when there wasn't a whole lot of tape on him at that point in time. But yeah, it is. It's a rough situation with the Bears. I don't know if it honestly gets that much better. It's still so early in the football season to be making any definitive statements, but it's just if you're looking at that team, there's some red flags going up that go. This push for the Super Bowl was obviously, I think, the right thing to do when you went all in. You got Khalil Mack and you went in. You got to do that at some point. It's just unfortunately it's not going to. That gamble I don't know is going to work out. On the NFC side of the ball, talk about a gamble and paying up a backup quarterback. Paying Teddy Bridgewater is the greatest decision the Saints have probably ever made outside of signing Drew Brees when everybody thought his career was done coming out of San Diego. Because paying him the money you paid him, the rest of the league's going to take notice. It pays to have a backup quarterback, and it pays dividends because the Saints are going to get Drew Brees back here in a couple weeks, and they're going to be just fine to make another playoff push. The Saints team looks real good.
Honestly, everything that could have happened for the Saints is happening, and it's very fortunate because it's like Teddy's winning, but he's not dominating. He's not creating any sort of controversy. It's clear that when Drew gets back, it's Drew's job, but he's winning.
Yep.
And
he's winning.
Literally,
and he's getting his name cheered in the dome.
Yeah, the dome. They're chanting his name. He's making himself money by doing this, and he's not. And it's better as a fan. If I were a fan of the Saints, I'd be like, great, Teddy's winning, but he's not creating like some controversy, and I think that's perfect for them.
I agree. The perfect situation.
Yeah.
You have a guy who obviously when Drew Brees comes back, he's your starter. You're going to plug him in, and you're off to the races again.
Right.
Hopefully not having a traumatic Super Bowl or playoff experience like you have the last 2 years, but you're off to the races. In the meantime, you have Teddy Bridgewater. He's going to make money off his next contract. You're paying him money. He's doing exactly what you paid him to do because he is the highest paid backup in the league. But you can see why you made that transfer because if Drew Brees got hurt, they're not even missing a beat right now. Yes, it's not as pretty. It's a little bit ugly football at times, but it's winning football games. And that's all you can ask for when you have your future Hall of Fame quarterback go down the way he went down. So the season by no means is lost, and that is the best transaction they have made outside of signing Drew Brees when he came off that shoulder injury and left the Chargers. On the other side of the football, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're exactly who I thought they were. They're going to have a game here and there where they play good. Todd Bowles is going to leave for a coaching job. And they are. Jameis Winston is the exact quarterback I thought he was. He's an idiot. He's throwing picks left and right that kept getting called back on Saturday. The offense is absolutely terrible. We are losing. Our window of opportunity is closing so fast with the amount of talent we have. And as far as Mike Evans, O.J. Howard has not been used at all this season.
Crazy.
He's arguably one of the most talented tight ends in the league. Godwin is getting his praise. It is
Godwin's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Godwin's
He's an absolute
amazing.
disaster, though, at the quarterback position, which means it's an absolute disaster in Tampa. And our secondary is absolute garbage. I don't know what's going on there, but it is a nightmare.
Yeah,
And that's my books.
You summed it up. You summed up
We
Tampa Bay.
traveled to London this week, so hey.
Hey, I did not realize that. I mean, I knew that they were going to London, but I thought the whole 9:30 game was over. So I was like, hey, it's a 9:30 game.
It is. It could be a pain to get up for, but I'll be up.
We'll be up, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a disaster on that side of the ball. outside of that, I don't really have too much. Oh, the Packers, Cowboys fans. I mean, we had mentioned this when they were thinking about paying Zeke. I don't know if the evaluation was made at that time that Dak, I think it was, let's see how he plays. I don't know if Dak's getting a big contract, because if he doesn't pick it up against good teams, why pay the man? Why not go out and try to get either a free agent, trade for somebody, or just start over and draft somebody later? Like, why pay him tons of money and lock up that position for a guy who's shown he can't play against the good teams?
Yeah, he can't. He can light the Redskins up. He could light up terrible teams that Dallas has early on in their schedule. But, yeah, when Dak has to play like another elite quarterback, it generally doesn't go too well.
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing as a Cowboys fan right now. I don't know if you're hitting the panic button just yet, because the division also is not great. I mean, the Eagles are definitely facing you, but yeah. it's not good.
I think the Eagles are going to – I think we'll see them maybe take over this division. I really do.
Yeah, if they stay healthy and as they get healthier, yes. I could definitely see that for sure. The Packers too. You guys are the most annoying football team. I like my teams. I like going into the season that the good teams are the exact same they are year to year. The Packers are going to play great offense. They're going to play shitty defense. They'll probably make the playoffs, and then there'll be a hilarious blow up somewhere along the lines. Yes. Aaron Rodgers will kill his head coach, and we'll start the cycle all over again. No, you guys have to go out and get a very good defense and make yourselves extremely good and a viable candidate for potentially making your way decently into the playoffs. I don't think they're winning, but they're a very good team right now, especially if they get Davante Adams back. Like they just laid a smackdown to the Cowboys without their number one weapon on offense.
Yeah, they did, and Aaron Rodgers, he played well, but he wasn't dominating at all. It was a lot of Aaron Jones stuff. So yeah, I mean and their defense, that pass rush, they've got a pass rush now with Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith. They almost gave it up though. I will say that. It did get a little dicey towards the end.
That is true.
As it kind of seems to do a lot with those Dallas Green Bay games. But yeah, I do like this Green Bay team, but I agree. I don't think they're going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. I think it'll crumble. I think Aaron Rodgers will have a very mopey face, and that's how it'll end. But they're definitely a good team this year.
The worst place to be is in the NFC West, because that division, I mean, somebody's not making the playoffs, and you have three the Rams are a hit or miss right now, but I think they're going to be a very
but they're a good team.
Yeah. You've got that division, the 49ers, Seahawks, and Rams. I respect the hell out of the Seahawks now. That division is probably the best in football right now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Cardinals are so bad. But still, that top three.
That top three is so good.
Yeah.
And, I hated the old, that old age Seattle, Sherman, Browner, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas team. I hated that team. This Seahawks team, I like a lot. I like watching them. They are fun to watch. It's just kind of I don't want to call them no names, but they're kind of no names.
Yeah, in a way. They're just playing really good football, which I did not buy early. I am a buyer in the Seahawks stock right now, which I got a couple quick picks before we end this thing. I'm not fully finalized on those. I'll throw these in a general report. I've been doing better in the NFL, so I'm actually liking some of my picks.
Should we fade these or what?
Well, the NFL I've been doing better. If it's college, I would fade the shit out of it. The Texas one I do like. Texas, though, I like against Oklahoma. It's 11 points. That game is going to be close. Sam Ehlinger is playing great. The Texas defense is playing good. I do think that game's going to be close. I don't know if they win that game, but I like 11 points. I think we both are on the Patriots 7. I can't believe it's at 7. It's at 17 right now. I don't know who the Giants are going to have on offense. That's a legitimate question, who they're going to throw out there. Shepard's out. Barkley may be a no-go. I would hold him against the Patriots.
I'm pretty sure he's a no-go.
Why risk that? And
I think he's a no-go.
Ingram's got a sprained MCL where he might go, so I don't know what they're going to do offensively. I like the 17 there. I do like the Seahawks-Browns. It is in Browns. I'm not buying the theory that the Browns have a comeback game here against the Seahawks team, so I do like the Seahawks -2 right now. It may change that later in the week, but I'm really liking that pick right now.
Yeah, I like I said, I agree with you on that Pats-Giants one. I like the over 42 as well. I think New England's going to get at least 28 to 35 points themselves, and I trust Daniel Jones to at least get a touchdown and at least maybe another field goal. So I like the 42 there. I actually, even though I know they're kind of coming off a bad game there, but I kind of like Dallas -7 against the Jets. I think the Jets suck.
Yep. I did as well. That was a pick I marked.
Yeah, the Eagles just smoked them. I do not think the Jets are a good football team, so I like Dallas -7.
Adam Gase might be. I forgot to touch on this when we were doing our recap of the week. Adam Gase might be the dumbest head coach in.
He's dumb.
Almost say college football and pro football. How do you give Sam Darnold all of the first team reps in that week when you have no idea if he's going to be able to go or not? How does that make any logical sense? You have a third string, barely making the league backup. I feel bad for the guy because that is absolutely ludicrous. I actually wrote down too, because I didn't touch on this a couple weeks ago when I was watching that Jets Browns game. Adam Gase before halftime when what's his face? Who was the backup before that? Fuck, I don't even remember. Whoever the backup was. He goes down. It's right before halftime. Yes. Or
yes. On the Jags.
Yeah. No, it was. It was. Okay. He goes down with the ankle, dislocated ankle or knee or whatever. Yeah. They have all 3 timeouts. They throw the third string back there. He obviously has no idea what they're doing. What does Adam Gase do? He takes a delay of penalty game on 3rd down to make it like 3rd and 20. They obviously don't convert. They're backed up in their end zone. They punt the ball. The Browns are easily able to convert 3 points. This guy's an idiot. So I think he might be out of a job here by the end of the year, which would be hilarious and also the Jets. True fashion. But I'm with you. 7 points. Cowboys, take that. It's New York Bells, and that's it.
Yeah. Am I reading that the Saints Jags is a pick'em?
Yep, essentially. Which is it's in Jacksonville, which I guess is why they're giving it.
It has to be. I mean, what?
Yeah. But yeah, at that point the Saints are even right now for just money line. So you might as well just, if you're going to take the Saints, which I think is where I would lean on that.
I think so too.
I'm not finalized on that one yet, but I think I would take that.
I do, like you said, Seattle 1.5. Like, yes.
Yeah, I like the over in the Bengals-Ravens game because I think that's just an absolute terrible defenses going at it, and there will be some points scored in that. It's at 48, so I kind of like that one. The other pick that I was liking initially is, where was it? I thought it was an outrageous line.
God, that Chiefs-Texans is going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, the Chiefs-Texans, there it was.
That's going to be a lot of points.
I thought 55 was a little low for that over. I mean, maybe they know something that I don't, but, I mean, they obviously do. They've been killing me this year, but that seems really low for those two teams.
It does. Maybe just Kansas City coming off of 13 or something, scaring them. I don't know, but that's going to be just back and forth game, I feel like.
Yeah, that's all I had at this point, but any other want to lay out there?
No, I mean, that's really all I have. I think it's hilarious that the Redskins are favored. That's just really funny. I would maybe consider taking the money line with the Dolphins. I'm not going to do it. I don't really like to bet on my own team, but if you're out there, I would consider it.
Yeah, sprinkle a little on there. All righty. Well, that'll do it for us this week. As always, peace.